why investing in WorkPath was a better idea, or was a great idea, actually.
Yeah, we think so, definitely. And so first, what is WorkPath doing? So WorkPath offers medium to large-sized enterprises a software solution for outcome-focused strategy execution. And I can tell you, it didn't take much time to convince us actually to invest in WorkPath. It was rather the other way around, that we had convinced Johannes, the founder and CEO of WorkPath, to take money from Iris Capital, because it has been a very competitive financing round with a lot of interest from other investors. So we are very happy that we managed to convince him.
Wow.
So what has driven our excitement, or drives our excitement, is like usual, an outstanding team. So the WorkPath team has demonstrated to have not only a clear vision for its company, but also the entrepreneurial compass to deliver on this vision in daily operations. So, and the team's determination is really reflected in an impressive wall of customer logos, strong net revenue retention with leading corporations such as SAP, Bosch, Metro, and many more, which have chosen already WorkPath as a central platform to enable their own organizations to work more efficiently and outcome-focused. So having a strong team, an outstanding product, and what we think an ideal market timing, we think we have all the ingredients with WorkPath that are necessary to create and lead a category for strategy execution software.
Wonderful. So, well, I guess we all are dying to know more about this company who actually, got the magical idea and been wise enough to actually invest on its own investor, which is definitely Iris Capital. So, Johannes, first question with you. How do you square the equation to transform organizations from centralistic pyramids to decentralized networks?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing that is happening right now, that organizations realize they cannot really stop that from happening. Yeah, we've been working in organizational models which are like pyramids, very centralistic, with top-down and linear strategic guidance along reporting lines. And the pandemic has been just another catalyst, another driver for a strong shift towards new organizational structures where people and teams rather work in fluid and decentralized networks and not in those centralistic pyramids anymore. So I would say, to your question, it's not us actually doing that transformation. It's happening right now. There's some interesting research that most of the value creation in large organizations today is already happening outside the org chart, outside reporting lines, but rather in those informal hybrid structures, network structures. And the question we wanted to answer with WorkPath is, how do you steer a decentralized network? How do you make sure that if this future of the enterprise is more decomposed, more like faster changing, more chaotic, some might say, how do you make sure that everyone is still going towards the same direction? How do you make sure every team still knows what are the most important outcomes they have to focus on? And I think there are a couple of things organizations need to facilitate and to succeed with a new strategic operating system in the new reality. On the one hand, it's technology. They use tools, they use processes that still build on the old reality. Yeah, so you break down goals, you set strategic goals, and you break them down along reporting lines, which is an extreme simplification of reality. Nobody in these tools and processes usually thinks enough about horizontal dependencies, who needs whom, who needs to contribute to the ultimate outcome for the customer. So a new generation of technologies like WorkPath is needed to build a new strategic operating system for network organizations in the future. And as a last part of my answer, I'd like to add, this is about change. It's not a pure technology play. So we're really proud, and we invested a lot into not just building a tool, but really providing a holistic solution that makes sure organizations can also build up the capabilities and skills they need to make this work. So we have partners, we have training programs, we have content to educate managers from the C-level down to operative teams. And I think that's the overall picture, how we help facilitating that change.
Well, that's a very, very good holistic, actual picture of what you're doing in a holistic way too. And I do understand that you do help the organization go with the flow in a way, but you are yourself more and more decentralized. I mean, your hubs are in Berlin, Madrid, and sooner further in other European cities. So is Europe your playing field, or do you hope, like scaling on other markets anytime soon?
Yes, you're right. Those like we were started in Munich, in Germany. I would have loved to be in Paris actually, but I'm in Madrid right now for interviews. So as you said, we're building new teams in Berlin, Madrid, and further European hubs. So we definitely identify as a European tech company. And in the beginning, we also mainly sold to companies who have their headquarters in some of the most important European regions, like German-speaking region, the Nordics, Benelux. But I'd like to add that our user base has been very international from day one. Yeah, as we are mainly selling to enterprises, multi-global or international corporates. Their users, their employees are around the world. So we have large user bases in India, in the US, all around the world. And sort of that is, I think, paving the way for us to internationalize also the way we do sales. So yes, we have customers right now in Asia and the US, and we will continue to invest there. Um, right now, the main focus is Europe, but this will already change in the next year. Australia, New Zealand, we're looking at right now. And as a software as a service business, at one point, there's also certainly no way around the US market.
Interesting. I'm sure Thorben is excited by this perspectives out there for a growth and what's next for Workpath. But you definitely addressed the question that your vision is kind of holistic, and it definitely been enhanced by the pandemic, of course. But you actually moved, if I'm not mistaken, from the OKR software market to a more comprehensive SaaS platform. So. Was it a great idea to stand out from the crowd? Because I know that the OKR, actually, it's not easy to say, software market is set to witness a huge growth by 2028.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. So OKRs is a big trend, right? It's a methodology to set goals. It's a strategy execution framework to make sure you get better and faster from strategic goals to results. But it's just a methodology, and any methodology is just a tool. You can use it in all kinds of flavors for all kinds of problems. I don't think actually there will be an OKR software market. Yeah, there's also no software market for other methodologies. There's no Scrum software market. So I think, yes, OKR is a trend. You can build a tool for the methodology, but that's never how we approach it. Yeah, I think you still have to define what kind of problems are you solving. You have to zoom out a little bit and as you just said, look at it from a more holistic point of view. So I think what we're doing right now with positioning ourselves as an outcome management platform and investing more into building that category of outcome-centered strategy execution, as Thorben said, that has always been our plan. That has always been part of our DNA. And as I said, I think talking about OKRs doesn't really define what you do. You know, there are dozens of tools out there by now. Some of them are rather doing like HR performance management. It's nothing to do with what we do. So I think you really have to define what kind of problems are you solving. And I was briefly touching on when I was talking about the transformation from pyramids to networks. And that's why I would say it's not an either or. We're still supporting and facilitating scaled OKR processes, but the category of what you're doing, it has to be bigger, it has to be more. And that's why I would say OKRs is just one important piece, one starting point for organizations that work with us. But if you have a new process like OKRs that helps you plan around strategic outcomes and goals, yes, that's great, but you also have to make sure that all the other existing processes you have in the company, that those become more outcome oriented as well. Yeah. So you need to invest into integrations. You need to integrate the OKR process with other planning, steering, and collaboration processes. And that's what we're doing right now. So I think it's quite a natural journey. And we're just getting more and more out on the stage in defining how we see the stage.